Okay, so what does E stand for? How do we come up with a number? And why is it important? That's what we're going to talk about today. First of all, let's look at your worksheet. The number E is named after which famous mathematician? The answer is his last name is spelled like this. It's actually pronounced Euler, not Euler. I used to say Euler. His name was Leonard Euler. Okay, you can just write his last name. So Euler is his name. And so that's why we use the letter E. Here's the formula. I'm not going to require you to know it. I just want you to write it down and understand. So I'll talk. This is a calculus thing, okay? Which is why I'm not going to require you to know it. But it comes from calculus. The way you read this is the limit. So this is LIM as x approaches infinity.
That's an arrow?
It's an arrow, yep. X arrow to the right. This is infinity of, so you have a set of parentheses, x plus 1 over x to the x power. Now, that's a lot right now, but that's why we're doing number 3. I'm going to have you fill out a table and see exactly what this formula means. So it'll just be numbers in the table. Hopefully it'll make it more concrete. And what happens is as you go through this exercise, you're going to see E is going to approach this number. I only need you guys to know the first 3 digits. So just like with pi, you only need to know 3.14, right? For E, you just need to know 2.718. It's a number that goes on forever. It doesn't stop, okay? And it doesn't repeat either, just like pi. These decimals don't repeat. They go all over the place. Which means E is an irrational number. It cannot be written as a fraction. The decimals go on forever. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to pick a number. Okay, my number was 4. Yours can be anything, like I told you. Add 1 to your number. Okay? That's what column 2 is for. And notice how this correlates to the equation. This is the x plus 1 in the equation. Okay? So, in this case, 4 plus 1 is 5. Then you're going to divide by your original number. So basically this divided by this. And so going back to the formula, it's this plus this over this, right? So 5 over 4. You're going to get a decimal back. So it might be 19 over 18 or 17 over 16. It'll be something divided by 1 less, right? Then you're going to take that number and raise it to the original. Your original number will be the power, okay? So let's say you chose 7, okay? You should have 8 over 7 will give you something. You'll raise it to the 7th power. And you'll get an answer back, and you'll put your answer in that column.
I didn't get 6 numbers.
Yeah, if you're numbered, it's better if you plug into the calculator if you leave as a fraction. So if your original number is 13, just plug it in like this. It'd be 13 plus 1 over 13 to the 13th.
I still got the 2.62. Like
Yes, 2.62. Oh, you still got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. You're going to pick a number that's 10 times bigger than your original number.
10 times.
40 is, so basically you're adding a 0. Now, going back to the equation, in calculus, x approaches infinity. I think that just froze up on me. Okay. In calculus, x approaches infinity means x gets bigger and bigger. That's why we are multiplying each number by 10. We're making it bigger and bigger. You could multiply by 100 or something. So you're going to take that number, add 1 to it, just like you did up here. So 40 plus 1 is 41.
Pick a bad number. Me too.
You are going to divide by the original and then raise that to the power in the first column, okay? So we'll have 41 over 40 to the 40th. Again, I can pull up the calculator and show you how to do that, but I got 2.685. So in that rightmost column, you don't need to simplify to 3 decimals, so that's why I put 2.685. But again, it's better just to put it as a fraction than raise it to that power. So I'm going to let you guys finish this out. And like he said, by the time you get all the way down, you should be approaching 2.718. So my next number would be 10 times that one, 400. Add 1 to that. Divide that divided by the original, so 401 over 400. Raise that to the 400th power, and I get 2.7148. And yes, there's other decimals there. You can't fit infinitely many decimals in a column. That's why it says round. Next row, I got 4,000, 10 times that. So 4,001 over 4,000 to the 4,000th power. I got 2.7179. Multiply that by 10. Added 1 divided by the original number over here. Raise it to the 40,000th power. 2.7182. So after the 5th column, I reached the third decimal is correct. You would call that the 5th iteration. Iteration means kind of like cycle. And then I went down again and multiplied that by 10. That's 400,000. I got about 2.7182. The word for that, I don't know if that's on your worksheet, I don't think it is, but that means convergence. Convergence means it's getting closer to the actual number. So we can see that's getting closer to what we have here. This is the actual decimal. And you can see that it's pretty close. 2.7182 is also what this one starts out as. So the more rows you were to do, the closer you're going to get to the number.
Yeah, because I repeating over 10.
This, again, you don't need to know calculus. This is just kind of what we've done. We've taken a number, added 1, divided by that number, raised it to that power, and as we made x bigger and bigger, it got closer and closer to 2.718. This is called the natural exponential function. I don't know if that's on your worksheet or not. No, it's not. You might want to write that somewhere, though. This is called the natural exponential function. I guess because it shows up in nature so often, I'm not sure. But I can tell you for sure that the number e shows up in compound interest equations, which is something we will definitely do. Coming up, well, I'm pretty excited about it. We'll have a project where you have to decide which bank account to choose, which one's going to give you the most money. So that'll be fun.
Where do we have the
If you plug these numbers into a calculator, like e to the negative 2, you get 0.135, e to the negative 1, 0.368. Why is e to the 0, 1?
Because anything with a 0 power is 1.
Yeah,
Did
anything
you
that's
want us to put it in decimal form or leave it in fraction form? Because on the old ones, it has to be in fraction.
decimal for this one. E to the first is e, 2.718, obviously. E squared, 7.389. What we're going to do with that chart is sketch the graph for number 7 on your worksheet. So when we plot these are all points on a graph. Here's negative 2, comma, what, 0.135. 0.135 is basically almost 0, right? And then negative 1, comma, 0.368. You just have to kind of guesstimate. So 0.368 is a little bit under 1/2. I know it's really small on there. That's the best I could do. And then 0, 1, that's pretty easy to graph on there. Then you'll graph 1, comma, 2.718, so somewhere between 2 and 3. And then the last one you'll plot is 2, comma, 7.389. Now,
Whoa, that goes really high really fast.
it does. What I want you to see, you don't have to do this on the worksheet, but on here you can see that e to the x is naturally between 2 to the x and 3 to the x. I mean, if e is between 2 and 3, then the graph of e, the screen graph, is going to be between 3 to the x and 2 to the x. 3 to the x is the steepest because it has the biggest base. 2 to the x doesn't grow as fast as the other ones because it has the smallest base. So let's fill in some characteristics about e. Okay? Can anybody tell me what the domain is going to be for e to the x? Good, all real numbers.
Oh, heck yeah.
Why? Because it's an exponential function. You can plug in anything and get something back, just like 2 and 3. Like
So we're doing 16 right now.
we're doing 16a.
Oh, I thought
The range is going to be 0 to infinity, just like the other ones. Why? Because if you go back and look at the graph,
is it including 0?
it'll never actually touch the x-axis. It'll always be a little bit above 0. You can't have a number and raise it to a power and get 0 back. So that's why there's a parenthesis there. And that's why we say all positive numbers. Who knows what the x-intercepts are?
There are none.
There are none. If it doesn't cross the x-axis, it has no x-intercepts. We know that when you plug in 0, you get 1 back for an exponential, so that's your y-intercept for d. So c, none, d, 0, 1. We already talked about the fact that these functions have horizontal asymptotes at y equals 0 because it curves closer and closer to the x-axis and never actually gets there. And then inverse. Okay, so e to the x has a special inverse. Oh, by the way, f, it's always increasing. Okay, exponential functions always increase unless you change something about them. So inverse. We talked about like the inverse of 2 to the x is log base 2 to the x. Inverse of 3 to the x is log base 3. Inverse of e to the x would be log base e of x, but there's a special way of writing log base e. We just write ln of x. We'll talk about that more later. But for right now, all you need to know is the inverse of e to the x is ln of x.